to Accounting Tales.
Okay guys, so today we have the first ever collaboration between the blockchain accounting wizards
And the forensic accounting detectives, and today we are here to discover how exactly blockchain accounting will shape the future of forensic accounting.
it's a very interesting topic and I've always been intrigued. So what exactly is forensic accounting?
Correct. So now I will answer your question with how exactly forensic accounting originated. So in 1930s, Frank Wilson, he was a CPA. Yeah, 1930s. It's that old. So forensic accounting originated because of Frank Wilson. Now Frank Wilson was a CPA in the U.S. Internal Revenue Services, and he was assigned the task to investigate the transactions of the very infamous gangster Al Capone. Now he had committed various business frauds, and the major one of them being tax evasion. And I think that's where Frank Wilson realized the need for forensic accounting, and which gave birth to forensic accounting. So in sum total, forensic accounting is that branch of accounting that helps you detect if a business has committed any fraud and if there is a misconduct in their financial statements. So now that we understand what forensic accounting is, would you like to tell our listeners what exactly is blockchain and blockchain accounting?
Yeah, so a lot of people find this blockchain and blockchain accounting. The word blockchain is so confusing to people.
Correct.
So I'm going to explain it in the simplest of terms possible, right?
Yeah.
So the blockchain accounting stems from blockchain technology itself.
Correct.
Now the blockchain technology, it's basically just recording all the transactions within the blockchain and keeping a record of all the assets that are there. Right? And all of these are in a decentralized manner so that no one person can control the information and data. So blockchain accounting, as I said, comes from this technology. It aims to replace the 500-year-old double entry system to a new triple entry system.
Triple entry system?
Yeah, triple entry system. So it would be like your normal double entry system where you have a debit, credit, but then it involves a new third entry which is within the blockchain itself.
Oh.
It's actually just as simple as that.
Haha. Right.
So I'm a little confused still. Where exactly is forensic accounting used?
Right. Okay. So I am going to introduce you to one of the most interesting applications of forensic accounting. And you will not see this coming. Forensic accounting is also used in matrimonial disputes. Yeah. So if you feel like your spouse is hiding something from you, and if you believe there's a distrust in terms of financial terms, of course, then forensic accounting comes into the picture. So what forensic accounting here in matrimonial disputes does is it prepares net worth statements with sum totals, the assets, the liabilities, and incomes and expenses. Now they can have one forensic accountant as a mutual representative or individually as well. This is especially popular in divorce cases. And speaking of divorce cases, I have a very interesting find. The other day I was reading about it, and this is the most expensive divorce in history of $4.5 billion. So this Russian billionaire, Dmitry, I will not attempt
Putin.
to... not Putin. Yeah, I cannot pronounce his last name. But he was ordered to pay $4.5 billion to his ex-wife, Elena. Because Elena was able to, she made the charges and she obviously proved them as well, that he was hiding assets in property from Elena before their divorce. So, I mean, that's where a forensic accountant came into the picture, and after doing all this analysis, investigation, report, the litigation for this was that $4.5 billion was the cost for this divorce. Now, poor man's pockets, he had to pay a lot of money.
Okay, hear me out. So imagine the same case, but if blockchain accounting was involved and the entire concept of blockchain was involved. So blockchain itself would record all the transactions and make the assets public.
Correct.
So if Elena and all the transactions made in cryptocurrency and in the blockchain, there was no way Dmitry could have even hidden the assets from her.
Correct. That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense, and that really proves how useful blockchain accounting can be. And the other day I was reading, and another benefit I found for blockchain accounting is it not only secures the transaction in terms of the triple entry system, but it also records transactions in real time, and this is real time update for all the transaction as compared to the traditional way of accounting. So, but then again, with the whole triple entry system coming into the picture, I begin to question like the entire syllabus and everything that we've learned till now will have to be changed. Like imagine today itself in class you were studying about debit and credit with the realization account. Imagine a third aspect being pictured into it, and how are students going to learn about it theoretically? So I think it's a big question with blockchain accounting coming into the picture. It's a big question for the entire education system as well, and I feel like that's another conversation we can have for another time. For
sure.
now, let's focus on all of this. So, there's another popular belief online. I was reading with many articles and many blogs and even tweets that blockchain accounting, I think in the future, people are believing that it would completely replace forensic accounting. What are your thoughts on that?
No. See, I feel like blockchain accounting has a lot of impact in the future.
Correct.
But there's no way that blockchain accounting can actually replace forensic accounting.
That makes sense.
Not fully at least.
Yeah.
That's simply because the technology of blockchain, what it does, as I mentioned before, it's just recording your transactions, recording your assets, and then it's able to give you a report. You're still going to need someone to analyze this report.
Exactly.
And come out with the meaningful data. I mean, any kind of meaningful insights out of this report. Is the blockchain accounting is just going to give you a report. It's not going to make you understand it in any way.
Exactly. So I think that's a very interesting point that you bring up there. So now essentially if you think about it, looking at the future, I think our accountants would have to be trained lesser at the back end and the more mechanical and technical jobs, and more at the analytical aspect of it. Like, because you need to have really great analytical skills and have to have really, because the blockchain will only give you the report. Like you said, you have to build up on it and analyze it. So I think it calls for an entire revolution. I think blockchain coming into the picture is going to be revolutionizing for the entire accounting world itself, and how the accountants are and how they would be and how they're going to be trained. I think all of that comes into the entire picture. But I still feel, in the short term application of blockchain accounting, I think there are a lot of gray areas. People are not aware of how this entire thing works. And for me as a company, if I want to hire someone who knows blockchain accounting and I want to implement that in my company, I would have to completely trust that person, because because it's an initial stage and people are not aware. I think it's even more easier to commit frauds. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I completely agree with that, because with the blockchain technology being so new and so many people not understanding it, the risk of fraud is actually much higher. And it's so important to have forensic accounting also in that manner, because in the initial stages when no one knows anything about it, you need someone who can help you out in these areas, right?
Exactly.
So yeah, that's there. But then when you think about in a long-term perspective and the future, see, the blockchain technology and blockchain accounting is already like going towards efficiency and reduction of costs.
Correct.
And all of that kind of things, right? But now what it's not able to do is the analytical part of it. But that is only when you're considering the simple blockchain accounting, right?
Correct.
It's just blockchain in its simplest of sense. But now imagine blockchain being integrated with much more advanced technologies like machine learning and AI.
Oh, now that,
When you have much more advanced technology being integrated into blockchain, which it obviously can be done, I feel like forensic accounting would probably decrease, like the use of it would decrease much more. I'm not saying that you won't need people you most definitely need people still and forensic accountants, but I feel like a lot of it can be automated more and more and more in the future.
Correct. So at least, but I think that's like a really futuristic thing that we're looking at. But at least for a few years now, forensic accountants and their jobs are safeguarded, and they can be happy that they have their jobs. And like you said, I think what right now we're looking at essentially is that companies need to start to accept this, that blockchain accounting is the future. There is no denying that. There's no coming back from that. That blockchain accounting is most definitely the future. And if there is a company that believes that is not, I think if the company has employees that they think it's not relevant in the future, I think the company needs to reevaluate their financial body. And I think what we can conclude by saying is that blockchain accounting will be integrated with forensic accounting, and it'll simplify the process a whole lot more. And we need to look at as accountants and all these accounting bodies and institutions who provide these courses, what they need to look at is upskilling. Upskilling is, I think, something that we need to look at more, and we need to focus more on the analytical aspect of it. And like every accountant must be technologically enabled and understand how this blockchain technology works and all of that. So I feel that is how it's going to go. And
yeah, I completely agree with that. And when I first started this podcast, and we were first assigned these topics, forensic accounting and blockchain accounting, I was so confident that I would blockchain accounting is going to replace forensic accounting.
Right.
But when I dug deeper and after this podcast especially, it makes so much more sense that you can't fully replace forensic accounting.
Correct.
Just probably the best and the most efficient way would be to integrate it with blockchain accounting.
Correct.
Yeah.
So I think if we want to make a concluding statement, we can say that blockchain accounting is very appealing. It is the future, no denying that. And why we can't replace forensic accounting? It is because neither traditional auditing techniques nor these real-time auditing techniques like blockchain accounting, at least for the near future, they cannot detect very well-concealed schemes and very well-concealed frauds. And the detection for the detection and unraveling of these particular frauds, you will require human intervention and human intelligence for it. So that is it. I think that's how we believe blockchain accounting would be.
I mean, I guess that's it for this episode of the podcast, and I hope you guys were able to learn as much, at least some parts of it, of what we learned through this podcast.
Yeah.
And I guess
this was our first time making a podcast, so this was a great learning experience for us as well. And please share this with who you think would like to listen to something like this.
Yeah. And
stay tuned and follow us on our blogs and social media pages. And we will see you guys hopefully soon. Thank you for tuning in and hope you had a nice time.